Welcome back to the Quickstart Guide for Recovery from Addiction and Co-Occurring Disorders. This is part 5 of 6 in our mindfulness unit. I'm your host, Dr. Dawn-Elise Snipes. We are going to explore activities that will help you become truly aware of your feelings, wants, and needs. So we're getting more into that observe and describe, and develop skills that will help you with your observe, describe, and participate tasks. Recreate this chart on a piece of paper and consider using it for your mindfulness check-ins. We're going to go through it once now, but it is helpful to use, on a daily basis in order to really make sure that you're looking at all aspects of how you're feeling. So down the side, you're going to put feel, want, and need. Across the top, you're going to put head, heart, and gut. So you can go down the columns or across the rows. It doesn't matter. We are going to go across the rows. So ask yourself right now, how does my head say I feel? What is my head telling me? How does my heart say I feel? So your heart may say you feel, you're longing for somebody, and your head may say you're overreacting and you shouldn't feel that way. Whatever it says. What does your gut say about how you're feeling? Same thing with your wants. What does your head say about what you want right now? If you're logically thinking, what do I want? What is your head telling you? What are your thoughts? What is your heart? What does it say you want? What are you feeling? What are your impulses right now? And what does your gut say you want? And that is integrating what your head says you need. Maybe your head says you're hungry and your heart says you want a brownie. Your gut may say, okay, well, you're hungry and a brownie sounds good, but again, purposeful action. That's not going to be, you're not going to sleep well if you eat a brownie this late at night. So maybe a glass of milk. So your gut helps you integrate your head and your heart. And finally, the need row. What does your head say that you need right now? Your head may say you don't need food. You need to get some water because you're dehydrated. Your heart may still want that brownie, but your gut may say, it mediates between the two of them. And it may say, well, okay, you can have a little bite of the brownie with a full glass of water or something. So based on your check-in, what is one thing that would be helpful to do now to help you feel your best and meet your needs? Spend about 10 minutes thinking about what you feel, want, and need, and the best way to achieve it, the best way to get those needs met, and continue working toward your ultimate goals. The next one is 3-minute thoughts. You're going to practice observing what you think, because a lot of times we have something called monkey mind. And monkey mind is when we have thoughts that are all over the place. And monkey mind can be very exhausting when your mind is always going everywhere and you're trying to rein it in to focus on the present moment. Unfortunately, monkey mind, our thoughts tend to go to stressful places. A lot of times it doesn't go to our happy place. We want to pay attention to that. So spend about 3 minutes and writing down or recording if on your mobile device, if you hate writing things down, all of the thoughts that you have. Freud used to call this free association, but you're going to spend 3 minutes doing this. And it may feel like a long time. It may not feel like long at all, but 3 minutes is great to start with. At the end of 3 minutes, review what you recorded or wrote down. How many of just use a hash lines. How many of your thoughts were negative? How many thoughts were about the past? How many were about the future? How many were about the present? And how many were just plumb irrelevant? Like, I wonder what that sound was. That will help you notice how many different directions your brain is going. And with time, you'll become aware of when your mind is drifting, and you'll be able to notice it and say, all right, I'm not focused right now. Let me get refocused and bring those monkeys back and get them all into the barrel. The next activity is what I call a vulnerability checklist. And we talked about this a little bit in some of the other videos. Vulnerabilities are things that when they're left unchecked can cause you low-grade stress or make you more vulnerable to stronger reactions. Physical, things like exhaustion, pain, discomfort, sickness, hunger, all of those things can make you more likely to be irritable, to have difficulty concentrating. And when you are irritable, when you're in an unpleasant mood, when you're having difficulty concentrating, a lot of times people tend to be more impatient in their relationships. And so it can have negative effects on your relationships. Your affect, how you feel. You know, if you wake up in the morning and you just get up on the wrong side of the bed, you know that you're grumpy today and you are in a funky mood. And it's knowing that you can take steps to, number one, try to help yourself feel better. You know, do things to help force yourself to laugh. You know, listen to a funny comedian, do something that makes you smile. You can do what I call the fake smile. Like when you're driving to work, just trying to smile, because your brain actually registers, even if you're forcing it, your brain actually registers that as happiness. So figuring out what you can do to help yourself feel a little bit better, but also recognizing that you probably need to be more conscious of your responses and your thoughts. Because you're in a bad mood, you may tend to be more impatient, irritable with people, or have more difficulty concentrating. So you may need to be more patient with yourself so you don't end up taking something like, you know, low-grade depression or irritability and turning it into something huge. Think about when you get sick. You know, if you're aware, if you're vulnerable, you wake up, you realize that you've already got, you know, a little bit of drippies going on, and it could just be allergies. But if you don't take care of it, or if you think you're starting to feel kind of a little bit under the weather, if you don't take care of it, it can turn into a big sickness. But if you do take care of it, you work to minimize your vulnerabilities, you check that stuff and try to help yourself be physically healthier, then you're likely not to get as sick. The same thing is true with our moods. So it's really important if you notice there's something that might, you know, even if it's low grade, it's just mild, if you know it's something that might grow with time or make you feel more testy, it's important to figure out, what can I do to address this so it doesn't erupt into something much larger. Cognitive things that can contribute to vulnerabilities. If you haven't gotten good quality sleep, you're probably going to be foggy-headed, and that can be really frustrating for people. You may be more tempted to forget things, which can cause problems at work and in relationships. You may be more easily overwhelmed or inattentive and make more mistakes at work, which can, again, be frustrating. Notice that. If you know that you're having one of those foggy days, what can you do to prevent it from becoming a bigger problem? You know, write more things down, for example. You know, what interventions can you do? Environmentally, what is the energy wherever you're at? If you walk into the office and it's like people are running around with their proverbial hair on fire and all stressed out, that is probably going to contribute to feelings of stress in you. So recognizing that the energy of your environment can contribute to negative mood states, unpleasant mood states, or positive. But it's a vulnerability when it's contributing to distress, whether people are just grumpy or they're stressed out for some reason. The energy in that environment can be toxic unless you notice it and take active steps to figure out what it is about the environment that might be unpleasant and take active steps to address it, to protect yourself, and improve the next moment. You may not be able to improve the environment, but you may be able to go into your office and shut the door or open the window or the blinds or something, so it's more pleasant for you. The same thing is true with noise, light, and sound triggers. If it is an unpleasant or distracting, distressful environment, it can make you more vulnerable, more stressed, more vulnerable to headaches, more vulnerable to neck and eye tension. So being aware of those sorts of things and having a plan. If it's too noisy, can you shut your door? Can you put on noise canceling headphones? What can you do? Can you turn on a white noise machine? For light, can you turn on a desk lamp and turn off the overhead fluorescence, or, put on sunglasses or something? What is it that you can do? And finally, relationship vulnerabilities include tension in relationships, feeling isolated, or just being around negative people. Again, you may not be able to address those. You may not be able to fix those right now for some reason, but acknowledging that they exist and figuring out how you can live your best day, your highest quality of day, and have this going on. Maybe you had a fight with your best friend and there's some tension in that relationship. All right, well, you may not be able to fix that right away, but recognizing that that is, kind of weighing on you, what steps can you take to prevent that from causing you more problems in your mood, in your thoughts, in your relationship with other people? So again, spend 30 minutes-ish thinking about what are your current vulnerabilities in each area: physically, affectively, cognitively, environmentally, and in your relationships. And what is one thing you can do to address each one? And this is ideal to go through this checklist every morning. I like it when people do it every morning, at lunch, and in the evening, to identify what's going on and encourage themselves to start becoming more mindful and more aware throughout the day. Because it's never too early to start participating and addressing some of these things to prevent them from causing you any more distress than they have to.